Hey guys, welcome back. This is the Siberian here, and we are in another battle replay. Let's see, is this 5? I think it's 5. I don't really know off the top of my head, but alright, let's watch the Austrians march out. Look at that. So many troops going off to the distance. Alright, right off the bat, I want to slightly apologize for if there's any scratchiness to the audio. I noticed that some of the P's were blowing out and stuff, the microphone, so I got a pop filter. I was like, oh, I'm gonna record nice audio, and then I started the dishwasher right before I started recording, which was not my smartest move. So there's going to be some background noise, sorry about that. But here we are. This is once again me, the Siberian, playing as Austria, and Joelius Cesar playing as Prussia? Yeah, Prussia. Yeah, so here we are. I'll walk you through my army comp as the usual goes. Oh yeah, I gotta do the army comp. So, once again, this is Austria's kind of similar to Russia right now in that they get large units. So I have a lot of infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the front row. 2 reserve, and those are all regular line infantry. Then I have 2 Jaegers on this right flank, supported by some provincial cav. 2 militia in reserve. My general back here. On the left flank, I have this little flanking force of Jaegers, and then I don't think I've ever said it right, but the expatriate, whatever it is, infantry here. We got 2 of those. So definitely, and another cav. And I think I held 1 in reserve somewhere. Ah, here it is. Yeah. So definitely not the most creative army, and there's definitely some weaknesses which we will witness, but since, as is the tradition, let's see. Alright, let's walk through army strategy. Oh, did I have cannons? Yeah, I had 1 cannon over on this left flank, I think, and 1 cannon right here. So I got my line infantry kind of in a double column, skirmishers. Here, let's do that better. Skirmishers along here. And then, once again, another smaller flanking force over in this way, with Jaegers as the scouts. Cav here. Cav in reserve somewhere in these trees, and then Cav here. So I wasn't really sure what Joelius Cesar was going to be doing, but I wanted to try something different. I didn't want to push so much on one flank. I wanted to see if I could do a powerful blow in the middle and kind of split his forces. I figured he might be expecting kind of a flank, so he might divide them. And I figured if I can get a powerful enough combination of infantry right here, I can exploit this, drive a wedge in his troops. Sorry, those are really bad arrows. Drive a wedge in his troops, and then destroy either this one or this one in detail. Things definitely do not work out, as Joelius Cesar does not play according to my plan, very unfortunately. And I guess I'll wait to lay that out for when we see it. But I was just kind of doing a casual skirmishing advance on the flanks, and then trying to really get this big central push. That was my strategy, very different than what I usually do. I'm usually a flanker, so I thought I'd be tricky and change things up, but it doesn't work. It kind of works. The weakness is my cavalry, which I thought because I brought enough professional line infantry, I wouldn't need to worry about his cavalry. But he was very smart using his regiments of cav, and I just had, here we'll kick it into play, I just had provincial cavalry, which cannot stand up to his cavalry units. And so I thought, so the lack of cav later on in the battle really is a big weakness for me. So I rushed up my horse artillery, and these guys were pretty good for me this round. Excuse me. And I noticed, we got a lot of 4 Prussian line infantries, if not more, that I can't see on this left flank. So he's kind of pulling a move like me with the flanking. And then over here, he's heading towards this hill. So I'm thinking now, I think you'll see my forces start to split. I'm thinking if I can keep these two separate, so I'm trying to drive that wedge and then I'll work this way. If I can keep these forces of his separate, I can destroy them one at a time while just holding them in place with the other troops. Which is, in theory, a good strategy. However, in practice, it does not work out. And we will see why shortly. Although that was a beautiful cannon shot. I don't know where it went exactly. Those might be them, yeah. Let's take a moment to admire the beauty of the Prussians charging forward. So I don't think he expected me to have troops in this flank. I didn't expect him to have troops on this flank. So we kind of stumbled into each other. So as you can see, the foreign troops for Austria only have 300, like normal line infantries. But Austrian line infantry has 350, but they don't have great morale or great stats. They're not as bad as Russia, but they're a lot more expensive. And here we go. So he took this hill and he set up these howitzers. These right here are the bane of my existence. Watch this. Oh, just absolutely devastating. Look at this. I'm absolutely getting torn to shreds, partially because my units are so large. I'm trying to now, I realize that this isn't going to be good, so I'm trying to hit his artillery with mine, but all those shots missed. Meanwhile, I'm sending reinforcements to this flank, because I think this is a good spot to trap his troops. He charged his regiment of horse in. I had mine hidden above, and they were able to charge in place. They hold these horse in place, and then somebody shoots at him. I don't remember who, but I end up taking out a lot of these. Although my Jaegers do get run down pretty bad, and they are broken now, so. And yeah, I'm already realizing, okay, I can't hold this flank. He's moving in too quick. These guys are gonna try and charge in there to stall this big clump while I remove my horse artillery at the double. And I'm pulling back those infantry, moving those guys to square. It was pretty hectic on this left flank. Meanwhile, on the right flank, I thought, well, if that left flank is so strong, I might be able to push up and take this, you know, because I was in the divide and conquer mode. So I thought, well, if I have to play defensive here, I'll play aggressive here. So I start to move up, but just look at these losses, man. Ooh, that might be a little close. Sorry if that's a little loud. I was leaning forward, getting into it. So I moved more troops onto the flank, but then I was like, oh, I need to shore up this edge. So they're moving out. I probably should have just committed them to one or the other. That was my bad. that was a bad move for me. Because, just absolute devastation. And my troops have yet to even fire on the enemy. These ones have. But those ones all have not even shot. Because he has light infantry, which have better range. Just bad combo for me. Do get a good flank here with the Jaegers, which is good. Meanwhile, on this flank, I'm rushing up some troops. Looks like he took out my provincial cavalry already, but I did manage to slow him down. I had to sacrifice this whole unit pretty much just to slow down this horde. But it's successful because I'm getting my artillery and more line infantry into place. And decided I gotta commit my reserve cavalry now. It's now or never. Oh, look at this. So he charges, another great move. This regiment of horse charging in at my light infantry. A countercharge. But look at that. My own horse kill all those of my own troops. So that's something to be aware of. If you're charging in, you can trample your own troops. And now my lines are just breaking under the fire. He charged forward. That was a great move here. And look at this, just breaking. And my provincial cavalry are gonna lose a fight like that. So I'm in a pretty desperate strait. Luckily, I delayed him enough on this flank that I was able to set up a little bit. And even I was able to withdraw this one that was in square. So that was good for me. This flank is now a little more stable. This one is becoming quickly a disaster. As he's wisely pressing his advantage and marching forward. Also, these are new uniforms, so nobody else has them but me right now. But eventually, in the next update, they will be in there. And I'm just trying to slow down, but I know I can't stay in range of these guys. They're just tearing my infantry to shreds. And so I'm in the full-scale withdrawal mode. Units formed up into column and marching back. And look at this, he hit it with a mortar. Yeah, this mortar. And I think it breaks this. Oh, just look at that. I didn't realize it, and he's just absolutely devastating everything. And that breaks those. Broke one of them. The other one's still fine. And he's now advancing on this flank. I am in full scale fallback mode. Do whatever I can to recover and mount some kind of defense. His regiment of horse comes in from the flank into my Jaegers. I wasn't paying attention. Another great move. I do manage to stop and fire into them because they're exhausted. They're not having the impact like they normally would. But that said, in the next update, units won't tire quite as quick. I feel like it's a little too quick to exhaustion here. So next update, I try and fix that. I sent my general forward to rally these troops, and it works. I have these line infantry as a screen so I can reform my whole army, but now I can see he's pushing around this flank once again. So there's my cavalry falling back to the woods. Yeah, this did not work out at all. Partially because he wisely brought a lot of line infantry mixed with those mortars. So if I go here, let's see, I'm going to do a little more drawn. So I have this screening force, and then I'm making kind of this big new defensive position. And I'm getting pushed hard from this area where his artillery is bombarding like that, and his infantry, here I'll just make a line, his infantry is pushing hard on my heels, pushing towards trying to break this already weakened section of my line. Meanwhile on this flank, over here, he has this whole big group that's hardly damaged now marching this way, and I'm struggling to fall, wrong color, struggling to fall back and form some sort of defense where I can destroy or at least hold off this. My personality though, I'm not a super big defensive player. I like to push. I find it's when you give up momentum, when you give up initiative, your defeat is pretty much inevitable. So what you'll see here is I start moving troops out here, even though they take fire from the mortar that's back here. I push them into this gap, and then I'm trying to isolate and eliminate. If I can isolate and eliminate that, then I have a hope. Which means I have to play a fighting withdrawal, making more and more lines back this way, keeping this whole unit occupied while I can hopefully destroy this side. So yeah, I think that was the best move I could make in that situation. If I had just sat here, he would have continued to flank, he would have found a weakness. So I had to push and try and exploit something of my own. And I even use my artillery pretty aggressively and run it up, because it's horse artillery, and fire canister right into his troops, which works out very well. But that initial surprise and then disastrous fallback that I had to do was pretty devastating towards my forces, especially on that right flank. So we'll load back in, alright, and kick it into play, and we'll see my stratagem in motion. So I'm trying to fall back out of the range of this. This artillery is just awful. And this is where my cavalry weakness is telling, because if I had a significant or a decently strong force of cavalry, I could sneak around a flank and try and run it up there. But my cavalry was so weak in this battle because I brought so much infantry that now I have to just wither it. I just have to take the withering fire. So once again, I'm still in the mode of falling back, holding fire until these units get out of the way. Left that one kind of as bait, hoping he would push. I would get a couple volleys off and then retreat back, which I think I do. Yep, one good volley and then fall back before he can respond. I mean, look at this. From 350 to 165. Absolutely devastated. These are cool uniforms. Nice, very nice. My artillery here. This foot artillery didn't serve me that well. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I'm trying to snipe these. I think I get one. Yeah, I got one there. But he has so many more. And I was trying to sneak these guys around the flank, and I was going to try and do what I mentioned earlier. But they're so weak that when they get spotted, they almost immediately break. So there's a little lull in the fighting, and I'm considering what my options are. Once again, he's advancing along here. It's a good move. And I pull these guys back a little bit, get a better angle. And the more this gap widens, the more I'm tempted to do that divide and conquer plan. Ooh, that looked like a good shot. Only got a couple. But I mean, just look at these losses. My troops are definitely feeling the hurt from all this howitzer fire. Although there were some good cannon shots there. Got about 10 or 9. So I'm advancing these guys to be able to fire on the flanks, hoping to force him to face my troops instead of marching parallel, because I don't want to keep getting too stretched out this way. And now his infantry is forming up. His light infantry able to harass from a distance. Very good tactics. And here we go. Here's where I'm making the wedge. So I feel like, okay, I got enough. I can hold here, hopefully. So now I'm trying to make this wedge in his formation right here and push out this way. Hopefully trapping these. I have my cavalry in the woods where they ambushed his cavalry, which was already weakened. Yeah. And these guys should very soon limber up and dash forward to try and get into canister range. So I think he still has a numerical advantage on me, but this cannon was my saving grace on this left flank. Meanwhile, on the right flank, I'm just still getting bombarded. The cannon crews are taking losses. They'll eventually break. I gotta sneeze. Oh, maybe not. Oh, I hate that feeling. Once again, I thought, keep widening the wedge. Maybe I can force this one to get shattered. He tried to push really aggressively with conscripts. They're kind of guys you probably want to sit back and fire on the enemy with, just because they don't have great morale. But I understand the want to be aggressive. And these light infantry are a good move because my troops are out of range. So I'm just taking artillery fire and taking musket fire that I can't return. But on this flank, so they're limbered up now, they should be rushing forward, and I'm closing the door. I threatened this with the cav so that make him go into square, and square you don't really fire all that much, so that let me get a couple good kills that aren't answered. And the drizzle has started now. Not too bad. As the rain gets heavier and heavier, you get more and more misfires on your muskets. And now I'm falling back again. I'm just trying to fall back out of range of these guys, because I can't hold against them. And this was an accident. I had set them to attack those guys, and as they retreated, they ended up marching right up next to the enemy. So basically threw away my Jaegers there, which was very unfortunate. I did notice and withdraw them, but took unnecessary losses. Oof. Just, gosh. But here we go on this flank. Here they go, dismounting, forming up, run back. And I noticed we each had 2 on this flank, 2 on this flank. So my goal was get some canister right into this one here, maybe break these 2, and I can now sweep up this direction. And I think it works. It works fairly well. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Dropped a couple there. We'll watch it from the Prussian view. Ooh, a few more. And that gets these guys shaken. So a couple more canister shots. You can see the troops in the background. That's cool. Here, I'll hit N. Look at that. And they're still shaking. Canister doesn't quite break them. Oh, I think because he started charging. So I had to refocus my attention. But that breaks them. It's hard to advance while exhausted and taking heavy fire. And that breaking is my chance. So he has to shift, try and reform his lines. I don't know if I do cav here. Might have been a good time. I know I do charge at least 1 unit in, bayonets fixed, trying to just shatter his troops all the way off the field. Yeah. I don't know if these ones are just marching. They have bayonets? No, no bayonets. So advancing up, pressing my advantage. He's now withdrawing, which was a good move because he was going to keep getting hit by these guys. So I think I reposition and once again pursue with that. I'm finally out of range of his howitzers. I left the cannoneers here and they got absolutely destroyed. They were my sacrifice. Some Jaegers on the flanks, sniping at the conscripts. They should win that. Yep, there's what's left of all my proud cannoneers. They did good, but I definitely lost the cannon and the cav battle. Lots of casualties in this battle, though. Unfortunately, I only destroyed, I think, 1 caisson, which means he couldn't move one of his howitzers, but he could move the other. So he's able to move it forward, and I was in range of this howitzer, which got moved forward. I don't know how many howitzers he had, but I did manage to get quite a good massacre, and I shattered that. Only 16 left of that unit. So very successful so far, destroying this part in detail. He's withdrawing to the wooded hill, which is a very smart move. Get a little extra cover. I rush my horse artillery forward. I should have moved them a little bit more forward because I dismount here, I think, and they're just barely out of canister range. Oh man, look at that. But if I had 1 cav, I do send my general charging in there. And my general does manage to eliminate this howitzer, but the cost is very high. I won't spoil it for you, but I think you could probably guess. So I notice he's pushing a lot this way. I kind of move forward, thinking maybe I can catch a flank. If I withdraw these ones, I don't know if I would have done this. This might have been a misclick, or if he's just withdrawing to the hill. I think he actually might just be withdrawing to the hill. which is a good idea, and he ends up parking another howitzer up there. Got these guys in reserve, but moving them over to the flank. The general on his solo mission takes out these howitzers. Very good, but he lost a few troops in his guard, and Joelius Cesar himself, way up here, ends up intercepting him on his way back. So hopefully I won't miss that. But the action on this flank. Okay, so it could get some canister on this. That's good. Get some wavering. I'm moving up these guys onto the flank. Hoping to get a good charge in there. Those are broken, and that broke those ones with the canister. But this one I can't reach with canister. See a good volley. Come on now. Yeah. No, there's some are still reloading. Look at that. Beautiful. And the cannons together with that will break it. So I successfully destroyed one flank in detail. However, disaster is about to strike. Where is he? The Siberian here is returning from his victorious little excursion, rashly having exposed himself. I think that's him. Or that. I don't know, one of those two. But look at this. Joelius Cesar catches him on the flank. And I wasn't paying attention. I didn't even try and run my troops out of here. And they just keep walking away. But they're getting attacked and from the rear. I guess we can stay and watch a little. A little derpy cavalry combat. That guy just raising his sword in his hand. Ha. I don't know who is who. Everybody looks alike. Good fencing skills. Anyways. Over here on this flank, I'm chasing down the enemy, hoping that they are permanently broken, meanwhile sending this over to reinforce the right flank, where he has now moved his howitzers up onto the hill. I think I'm doing fairly well here. Now I'm winning on this side. He's charging his light infantry into my Jaegers. Ooh, good move. Charge forward and then volley. But just watch. Where is it? Yep, and there, this heroic death. The Siberian has died, and just watch the quick morale breaking. Puts these militia already to wavering. These militia broke at the news. The wavering from the artillery now pounding these troops, they break. These will break. It just becomes this massive rout. I tried to run my horse artillery up and get a couple good shots in, but they get panicked by all the other troops and just chain rout this whole flank. And I don't have a general to recover them. That's why you gotta be careful. Luckily, I still have troops left over from this flank. So I'm not completely defenseless, but things have taken a turn very much for the worse. And so I'm like, I gotta fall back and hope I can defend. These guys rallied, but they are still shaken, and all these guys are routing towards them. And while they're suffering this cannon fire, they are not going to recover. No way. So I'm just withdrawing all the the remaining troops that will listen to whoever's now in charge. I think these guys end up routing from the panic, or maybe these ones do. Shaken. These are still steady, that's good. But this is a big loss, this flank. And so if I had had cavalry, I would have stood a chance, I think. If I was able to sneak, try and get those guys. These militia are now wavering. Come on, hold on. So now I'm trying to form up a last-ditch defensive line kind of along this little ridge with this forest. Maybe this forest as an anchor. My troops are either very tired or exhausted. This unit, I had fixed bayonets, so they can't shoot. So I was thinking I could swing wide and hopefully charge his howitzers if I can find them. These ones stayed, but I think these took a cannon shot and just immediately routed again. As the sun is setting, Austria's empire is also setting. Look at all these Austrians fleeing never to return to the battlefield. And the Prussians, the proud Germans, fighting the other Germans, kind of Germans. And now he's advancing. Another good move, staying close on my heels, not letting these troops recover. If he had had any cavalry left, that would have been very much a disaster. He could have ridden down these troops with ease and much more quickly pressed this area. Also, his line infantry back here rallied, but I don't think he noticed, so I lined up right behind them and fire into him. And that one rallies as well. And it's still pretty healthy, so I'm all the way surrounded. And I have a little force here, little force here, militia force that's marching in. But all my forces are pretty concerned. General died. I did break that. That's a good little bonus, but I think it reforms, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe this one just comes over here. But even just having this one unit that was alive back here makes it so I have to keep one more unit from defending against the main threat. Yes, beautiful. Let's get some nice shots here. Hit N. Yeah, look at that. The grass waving and distant Austrians in a line. The sun setting. I think it's setting. It might be rising, but look at all the bodies on that battlefield, man. Brutal. Yeah, so I was in Custer's last stand mode here. He is chasing my line infantry here with this unit that rallied and is healthy, and he heads it off with one of these that comes out there, and I try and charge, and yikes, it gets demolished. So yeah, this is my first multiplayer defeat so far to somebody from the community with the mod. Of course, I lost vanilla matches. I think why I've done well in the mod so far is because I made it, and so I know all the little ins and outs. a little better than the average player. But Joelius Cesar here out-generaled me, for sure. Oh man, if I had artillery. But I don't, so he's safe in these formations. I like those light infantry uniforms. Little feather in the hat. Alright. Nothing much is happening now, so I'll fast forward it. He's flanking around now. This side, these guys are hidden though, so he doesn't realize they're there. I was trying to hope my troops would get a little more rested. They get back to active, that's good. We'll watch the... Oh my goodness. I was going to say we'll watch the volley, but we went underground and then underwater. So I'm trying to reform to maximize the firepower. He's moving them. Let's watch the volley. Oh, they're still forming up. Oh, over here, watch this. These brave troops, man, they charge all the way to him while exhausted, taking heavy losses. You just see a string of bodies. Flag bearer leading the way. But he countercharges, also another good move. You get that charge bonus and it cancels out my charge bonus. Oh, the flag bearer went down. Oh, he's back up. He's getting up. And 200 to 204, but he's very tired. I'm exhausted. My morale is bad. And he quickly breaks them. So that was my hope to take care of the cannons. Gone. He's flanking around in the back and up here. Luckily this unit is very healthy, so it was able to keep these guys away. But now his main army is moving forward. He gets his cannons up here. I am not having a good shot at holding off these Prussians. So yeah, very good match by Joelius Cesar. His combo of cav and artillery perfectly countered my formations, and yeah, look at that. Breaks through. These guys are still only shaken though. They broke the Prussians right there. Now they're getting flanked. These guys do reform, taking cannon fire, but this is obviously the end of the line for the Austrian Empire here. We'll get to the end of it and show some totals. Yeah, one volley, and they break. These guys came back, oh, and they take a volley and break. And there it is. Look at that. I deployed over 1,000 more troops, and our losses were still fairly close. Closer than I thought they would. But my troops absolutely broke. And look at how useless so many of these troops were. Killed 21, lost 205. 51, 204. But then this one did admirably. They killed over twice their number lost. So, I don't know. They got 0 kills and only 4 kills. I think this is the one that got rear charged by my own cav. So yeah guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you enjoyed watching my own demise. Thanks Joelius Cesar for playing. That was a very good match. I want another one sometime. Avenge my defeat. But hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you on the next one.